Good morning, all of you. I'm Dr. Kavita Devani Joshi, and today you are here with me to study about the next chapter from the 12th standard, that is evolution. Okay, so in the last lecture, we had covered with human reproduction, but now we are going to begin with the next chapter. Okay, so here I'm beginning with evolution, or you can even call it theories and evidences. Okay, so moving ahead with this chapter, and I should say beginning with this chapter, so we have to tell first of all that what is evolutionary history. Okay, so evolutionary biology, I should write, this is a branch where study of history of life forms is done. So study of history of life forms is called as life forms on earth. Life forms on earth, that means whatever life forms are present on the earth, no, so those organisms which we are studying about them, so that branch is your evolutionary biology. And first of all, apart from that, you should tell, you should know that what do you understand by evolution. Okay, so when I talk about evolution, or when we try to define it, so it means act of unfolding or unrolling. Act of unfolding or unrolling, or order. You can define it by one more means, that is orderly change from one form to another. Orderly change from one form to another. Okay, so we can write it like this: orderly change from one form to another. That means layer by layer we are able to see, we are trying to see that which organisms came earlier and which came later. So for example, we are considered as the most complex, most advanced organisms, as you all know. So we just explored that how we evolved, or how the from the simple organisms complex organisms evolved. So this orderly change from one form to another, how it happened and how it is explained. So when you talk about life, so you can also define life that it is an inherent capacity of an organism. Inherent capacity of an organism to maintain and reproduce itself. To maintain and reproduce itself. Okay, so we can write over here to maintain and reproduce itself, right? So that's how you can even define life. And when it is about universe, so universe is a vast region of space. So we can write over here vast region of space. Okay, right? And it is a vast region, it is expanded region, and it has infinite volume. So we cannot say at all that it is having it is this large or this large or this large, because it is infinite, no boundaries. We cannot say anything about that, so we cannot comment on that. So it has infinite volume. It has many galaxies over here, like our galaxy, that is Akash Ganga. And there are heavenly bodies present over there. Heavenly bodies, your planets, your stars, etc., they all are there. And these distances between these heavenly bodies, so these distances between heavenly bodies, they are called as stellar distances. So you have to remember this, that they are called as stellar distances. Fine. And these distances are measured by light year. So these distances, they are measured by light years, or measured in light years. Okay, so in I should write. And if you want to know that what is a light year, So when we talk about light year, 1 light year means the distance covered by light in vacuum in 1 year. So distance covered by light in vacuum in 1 year, and it is measured in kilometers only, but millions or billions of kilometers. So you normally generally measure the distances in kilometers only, no, but these are measured in billions or billions of kilometers. Okay, so we also say one thing, that when we are looking to these stars, it seems that we are looking into our past. Why? Because the light has traveled millions of kilometers to reach to our eyes. So that's how we can say that when we are looking at the stars, it seems that we are looking into our past. Okay, so now I am going to explain you about one main topic, that is origin of universe. Origin of universe, when we talk about it, so we are trying to tell about the evolution of universe. So how the universe evolved, and it was explained by Big Bang Theory, and it was around 20 billion years back. 20 into 10 raised to power 9 years ago. That means I can write it like this: 20 B by A, and B by A has a full form: billion years ago, right? So this is important, and this data is important, and we are going to understand Big Bang Theory associated with the trial of explaining the origin of universe. So a Big Bang explosion happened, and that's how the space, which was like this, it got enhanced, the space got wide, and the temperature, which was high, it got down. So space got increased, and temperature got down, and your hydrogen and helium like gases, they were formed, and they got at the bottom or condensed down due to the presence of gravitational forces. After that, your Akash Ganga galaxy, that is Milky Way galaxy, was formed, which was formed around 4.5 BYA, that means 4.5 billion years ago. And then volcanic eruptions were occurring, and many gases were coming out of them, like methane, ammonia, carbon dioxide, and water vapor, because initially water was not in the form of water, it was in the form of vapor, right? So then UV rays acted upon those H2O vapors, and it got broken into hydrogen, which was lighter, so escaped, and oxygen, which combined with other gases to form new gases, and it also led to the formation of ozone layer. Okay, so that's how ozone layer was formed. So our primitive atmosphere was a reducing atmosphere where oxygen was not present in free form, because it was present in combined form. But our today's atmosphere, as you can see, I'm sitting over here breathing, you are also doing the same. So it is called as oxidizing atmosphere, as your oxygen is present in free form. Okay, and after that, what happened is condensation. Due to condensation, the water vapor converted into droplets, and your large depressions, they got filled by the water, forming oceans or seas, right? And after 500 million years of evolving of your galaxies, new life evolved. So life evolved around 4b by a, that means billion years ago, we can say that. So I'm writing the whole thing in the form of a flow chart. So what happened is big explosion, huge explosion. Okay, so huge explosion, what it lead to, made the space made the space more, overall space more, and temperature down, made the space expanded, okay, I could also write expanded the space, okay, and the temperature down, and temperature and temperature down, okay. Then what happened is, after that, I told you hydrogen and helium gases, uh, helium gases were formed, okay. Hydrogen and helium gases uh, formed and got condensed, formed and got condensed due to gravitational forces. And then after that, formation of okay formation of your this thing, what should I say, Akash Ganga galaxy, formation of Akash Ganga or Milky Way galaxy happened, okay. Milky Way galaxy happened, and it happened around 4.5 BYA. So now you know BYA means billion years ago, right? Then after that, due to volcanic eruptions, okay, so due to volcanic eruptions, gases like gases like gases like CO2, comma methane, CH4, comma ammonia, okay, and water vapor, all these gases uh, were evolved, okay. And what happened is they evolved, okay, and UV rays acted upon water vapor. So UV rays broken or dissociated, I should say, dissociated H2O vapor into, so I hope you are all are understanding, into H2 and oxygen, and that's how oxygen formed. And oxygen combined with other gases to form new gases, and ozone layer was formed as well, plus ozone layer formed, okay. So I guess you are getting everything right. After that, the water condensed in the form of water vapor condensed in the form of droplets, water vapor condensed in the form of droplets, okay, in the form of droplets to fill large depressions, to form oceans and seas. And that's how life evolved after 500 million years ago. So M by A means million years ago. Life evolved after 500 million years, you can say, okay, of galaxy formation, after 500 million years of galaxy formation, okay. So this is the whole process. So we can say that our primitive atmosphere it was reducing in nature. Why reducing? Because the oxygen was present in combined form. The oxygen was present in combined form. It was not available in free form, and today's or present atmosphere, which we can say, so present atmosphere is considered as oxidizing atmosphere. Okay, so here you can write oxidizing atmosphere because oxygen is available in free form, because oxygen is available in free form. Okay, so I hope these points are clear to you, and today there can be no chemical evolution of life because the oxygen present in free form in today's atmosphere, it acts like a strong oxidizing gas and it oxidizes all the inorganic materials. So that's how the chemical evolution is not possible today. So what are the requirements which are required for the formation of life? So as I told you that volcanic eruptions reducing atmosphere, very important. At that time it was there when the life when the life evolved. So this one, and the third one is your high temperature, okay, which is supporting the whole phenomena. So here we can write the high temperature. And now I'm going to discuss, as the chapter's name is also theories and evidences, so I'm going to discuss the theories of evolution with you. So let us put this heading, theories of evolution. Many scientists came and they gave their own theories. So first theory was your theory of special creation. So theory of special creation was given by Father Suarez, and he said, so I will be writing the name of the theory and will be explaining it to you. Okay, because these are very easy theories, you just can listen to them and remember. That theory of special creation means Father Suarez, it was given by, so at least we can write that. So it was given by Father Suarez, and he said that that your earth is 4,000 years old. In the back slide, as I told you, that life evolved after 500 million years of galaxy formation. That means our life is 4 BYA, 4 billion years ago it evolved. But now Father Suarez is saying it is just 4,000 years old, and he said that the life was created by a supernatural power called as God. He created the life, he created the whole world in 6 days, and on the sixth day he created the man. He created man. So he came, people listened to him, but then this theory didn't get any acceptance because there was no proof for it. Then next theory is theory of catastrophism. Theory of catastrophism, and this theory was given by Cuvier. So this theory was given by Cuvier, and he said that there was a catastrophe which came, that means a disaster kind of a thing, which destroyed everything. Many natural disasters destroyed everything, and then again new life evolved from the inorganic material. Okay, this kind of whole scenario is depicted in one movie which was called as 2012. It was about to happen then and there, but it did not happen. So we are here together in 2020. So 2020. So catastrophism means the natural disasters, they destroyed everything, and new life evolved from inorganic material. So it was given by Cuvier. Then came theory of you can take anyone, panspermia you can take, or cosmozoic theory we can call it. So Cosmozoic theory, let me explain you. So cosmo means world, and it said that life has evolved from the spores or sperms or pollens which have fallen down from another planets to the earth, and from that sperm a whole individual formed, from that spore a whole individual formed. So it was given by Richter Helmholtz, but then one more joined them, that is your Arrhenius. So Arrhenius called this theory by another name, that is panspermia. That is panspermia, because pan means complete. Okay, complete, and spermia here means that from sperm a whole individual can be formed. And so here the life evolved from other planets, spores, pollens, or you can say sperms, right? Then the next theory is theory of abiogenesis. So theory of abiogenesis, okay, and A means absent, bio means life. So you can also call it by the name spontaneous generation, theory of spontaneous generation. So this theory was given by, although by many scientists, but then von Helmont, you can remember one name which is generally used, you can say. And it said that life evolves from non-living matter like straw, mud, etc., and literally frogs and flies evolved like that. They gave the examples, and they gave one more example in which a sweated shirt full of sweat was put into the wheat container, and from there, after few hours, mice evolved. The literally mice, they came out, so they thought that because of that sweat they have evolved, literally they have been produced, but it was not at all supported by few scientists. So that's how next theory came, theory of biogenesis. And theory of biogenesis says omnis vivum ex vivo. That means these are some words which have certain meaning. Omnis vivum ex vivo, vivum ex vivo. And here we have to talk about the contribution of three scientists. One is Francisco Redi. He said that flies could not arise from the putrefying meat. Putrefying means rotten. From rotten meat or putrefying meat without their eggs. Okay, without their eggs. Then came Spallanzani. So Spallanzani said that we can prevent the meat from putrefaction, from being rotten, if we keep them in airtight containers, okay, or by boiling it, so we can protect it from getting rotten. But then came Louis Pasteur, who got a lot of recognition, and we all know his name. The above two, they were saying these, they were trying to say something, but they were not able to say it in proper words or explain it. But then Louis Pasteur did so. He supported them, and he said, I tell you that what these people want to say, life comes from pre-existing life. So he said that life comes from pre-existing life, right? And he said that I am able to explain this with an experiment also. So he performed swan neck flask experiment to prove it. Okay, so how did he prove it? Let's understand that. So what he did is he took this one jar, which we can name as it A, okay, and he took another jar which is having a curved end, somewhat like this, okay, which is having a curved end like this. And he took you can say he took water and yeast. So first of all, these jars which were taken by him, no, they were sterilized. They were having no microorganisms in them. So this is open-ended flask, open-ended, and it is closed-ended kind of flask he took here yeast and water. And now what he did in both of them, so yeast plus water here also, and yeast plus water here also. Then he took a burner and heated both the jars, and these yeast, now they became killed. They got killed. So now you can call them killed yeast, and this yeast plus water solution we can call it as broth. Okay. So what happened is, in this A jar afterwards the life evolved, but in this case in B jar it did not evolve. How? Because in A case, although there are no organisms, because he took sterilized flasks, and apart from that, no. If we talk about this next jar also, so in both he took yeast and water and he killed all the yeast. This is also the thing. So this is called as swan neck flask because it is having a very thin neck. Exactly, yeah, you're getting this. So in A it evolved, in A jar life evolved because the microorganisms from the surrounding air, they entered into the flask. But in this B case they could not enter, so life could not evolve in this. So in the air there are microorganisms, he said, already life was there. That's how new life arise. Okay, so this was supported like this. And Reddy and Spallanzani, they also wanted to say the same thing, that we can protect the meat from getting rotten by keeping them in airtight containers and by boiling. Okay, so next is theory of chemical evolution. Theory of chemical evolution. Okay, so when I talk about this theory of chemical evolution, this is considered as the most accepted theory, and it is also called by one more name, Oparin Haldane hypothesis. Oparin Haldane hypothesis. So it was given by Oparin and Haldane. That's how it is called like this. Oparin was from Russia, and your Haldane, he was working on these things, and he was from England, but he shifted to India later. So Haldane was from England. Okay, so you have to remember these things because they are sometimes asked in your questions. And the name of book which was given by Oparin was Origin of Life, and you have to remember this anyhow. So I'm making a star point, that is your the book name of Oparin was Origin of Life, because he explained about the origin of life via his theory. So Oparin and Haldane, they said that life evolves from inorganic material, so via chemical reactions. So for example, this carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, all these are inorganic. All these are inorganic materials, as you all know, right? In fact, inorganic also I should not write, free atoms you can call them in the beginning. So you can write that these are free atoms, and then H2, your CO2, all these, ammonia, NH3, H2O, all these formed. So these are considered as the first inorganic material. So I'm writing over here, these were free atoms, these were simple inorganic materials. So here we can write simple inorganic materials, right? Okay, and then after that, your methane, your HCN, hydrogen cyanide, they get formed. So they are simple organic materials. So we can write over here simple organic, okay, and then first simple organic also you can call them. So they formed, and then they said that they evolved into after that your amino acids, your monosaccharides they formed. So we can write over here monosaccharides, then we can write amino acids, amino acids, then we can write fatty acids and glycerol, fatty acids and glycerol, right? So we can write this over here, fatty acids and glycerol, nucleotides, all they got formed, okay. So let me write it, glycerol and nucleotides, so these all formed this. These were also simple organic only, okay. So here I am writing first simple organic, first simple organic materials, okay, and here simple organic materials they were getting formed, and then after that the complex sugars got formed. So here you can write complex sugars, complex sugars, then from amino acids proteins, from fatty acids and glycerol fats, and from nucleotides nucleic acids, okay. So they got formed, and these are called as complex organic materials, complex organic materials, okay. So that's how after this the life evolved. So here I am putting one more arrow to show life. All these things were told by Oparin and Haldane, and they just told it, but they could not give any experimental proof for it. So now came Miller and Urey, who supported them, and they gave the experimental evidence. So they gave this experimental evidence of it via an experiment which is called as Miller's experiment. His contribution was more to it. So like this you can see like this you can see that this kind of an apparatus they chose, okay. So this kind of apparatus they chose, and literally they created the conditions which must be there when the life must have evolved, okay. So here you can see this like this. Like this he took this apparatus in which he maintained the conditions which were very similar to the primitive reducing atmosphere. So he kept the temperature 800 degrees centigrade, 75,000 volt potential difference he took, okay, at according to that time. And what else, he took a jar like this, okay. So he took a jar like this, let me draw it for you. So it was having water getting boiled, so it was having water getting boiled, okay. So like this it appeared, right. Okay. Here he took water, the water is getting boiled, so he can show it like this. This is boiling water. So we have to label all things. Just now we are drawing it, but we will be labeling each and everything. And from here it was connected to, it was connected like this. Okay, can you see this diagram? Okay, so it is connected like this, and this is the remaining apparatus part, which can be drawn this way. Okay, so let us now label it. It's time to label it now. Okay, so these are electrodes. These are electrodes which were simulating the lightning, which must have happened in the primitive reducing atmosphere. And he took gases which were methane, ammonia, hydrogen, and S, that means steam, that is water in the form of vapor, 2 is to 1 is to 2. In this ratio, he took methane, ammonia, and hydrogen, and this is your condenser. From one side water is getting in, and from one side water is getting out, and this outlet is there for collection of the organic materials which are going to form. So okay, so let us not write it right now. I'll explain you, then we'll write. This is boiling water, and this is the knob of to vacuum pump, right? So it is appearing somewhat like this. Okay, to vacuum pump, we can write it as to vacuum pump. So we can write it like this. Got it? So now let me tell you that what happens is here, this was a spark chamber. This is called a spark chamber, in which these gases were taken, and all the conditions like primitive atmosphere were created by him, and a red colored fluid got formed. So steam is coming from here, from this boiling water, like this to this part, and here a red colored liquid formed containing amino acid. So red colored fluid formed containing amino acids. Okay, so which amino acids which are three, which got formed. So one is alanine, one is one is glycine, and third one is aspartic acid. Okay, so all these three amino acids got formed in the form of red colored fluid or liquid, and these were the organic materials which got formed for the first time via this apparatus, which he took. So that's how he proved that Oparin and Haldane are right on their part. Okay, so this diagram is given in your NCRT as well, and it becomes important for you. So gases names I'm writing here: methane, the gases which were taken in 2:1:2 ratio, methane, ammonia, and hydrogen. Methane, ammonia, and hydrogen. Okay, so this is how methane, ammonia, and hydrogen he took. Exactly, I hope this diagram is clear to you. Now they were able to explain that how organic materials came from inorganic materials, but then how life was evolved out of organic matter. No, this was still a question. Similar kind of things, many scientists, they came and supported them, that if we use UV rays, if we use HCN, so we can see that apart from amino acids, pigments also, ribose sugar also, pigments and fats, all they get formed. These all things were told. Now everybody was coming and talking about in their favor and supporting them. Meteorites, the falling of meteorites also created certain chemical reactions which supported the formation of these organic matter, but still there was a question that how life evolved from this organic matter. So still there was this question. So in many forms life must have evolved as we see to it. So one is biogeny. Okay, one is biogeny, that means from life from living matter. Okay, via self-replicators. Self-replicators have the capacity, self-replicators have the capacity to replicate themselves to increase their number. So that's how life must have evolved. One is chemogeny via chemical reactions, as we were talking in case of Oparin and Haldane hypothesis. So life must have evolved via chemical reactions. And there is one more thing, that is cognogeny. So cognogyny means diversification of existing forms. Okay, so diversification of existing forms. Okay, right. So that's how we can talk about cognogeny. So how it happened, if I have to tell you this, so you need to understand one system which is called as prebiotic system. And in this prebiotic system, so four conditions were very much required. uh, so first was the presence of, as I told you, self-replicators. Some where or the other the life must have originated, no? So initially we didn't evolve, in fact no amoeba, nothing, but some organisms which were, you can say, self-replicators, who were the who were having the capability to replicate themselves, they must be there. And there after that, when it was happening, there must have some errors, like due to high temperature, etc., which must lead to mutation for forming different kinds of organisms. Okay, so we are just this evolution is about what? It is just about deriving an idea that what must have happened, because you were not there, I was not there, even our ancestors were not there to see anything. But we have explored, we have done the observations, we have got many proofs for certain things, and that's on the basis of those studies we are writing and studying all this. So we are removing each and every layer one by one. So this is the outermost layer. Now after that, this we can do this much only. So the whole evolution chapter is based on assumptions. There is no you cannot say that he visualized it, or he could see that, or she could see that, because we were not there, right? And then these molecules which are present over here, they must be able to segregate themselves partially from the general environment. So they must be able to get separated partially from their general environment. This is one more need. And there should be a continuous supply of energy. Okay, so there should must have been a continuous supply of energy. Okay, so these were the requirements, and these molecules, these self-replicators, called as protobionts or prebiotic molecules. So they were having all these characteristics. They were able to segregate themselves from the general environment, and but they were not able to reproduce. They were not able to reproduce. So the first one are called as operans coacervates. Operans coacervates, because they were told by the scientist Oparin told about them. So operans coacervates, if you when he artificially tried, so he found out that they were able to segregate or separate themselves from an aqueous solution, water solution, and they were made up of protein plus polysaccharides, or protein plus carbs, you can say, or sugars, you can say. And what he did is he just mixed both of these things and just shaked it up. But then afterwards, just as oil gets separated from water, they got separated from the aqueous solution. They were not able to reproduce at all, and they were not considered, because they were not having any lipid membrane, so they were not even considered as probable precursors of life. Probable means possible, so they were not considered as probable precursors of life. If you find this question strictly, it is they are not considered. And then second one, they are called as Sydney Fox. Okay, Sydney Fox proteinoid microspheres. And they were formed by organic matter in a cool solution in cool water, and they were having this lipid membrane. They were having this lipid membrane, and they were also not able to reproduce, but at least they were having this lipid membrane, so better than no parents coacervates. Okay, so we cannot consider them as the precursors, but then some scientists said that there was this world called as RNA world which came, and the earlier world was your RNA world. So the RNA template, the RNA, this acts like a template, and it helps to form different more RNAs. So but then a few scientists, they also came and said it was not possible to have RNA world at that point of time in the very initial time. So many did not support it. Okay, so earlier it was not possible. This was the observation by many scientists. Okay, this complex RNA could not be there. It was not possible. So now when I talk about the origin of life to you, which is the most important thing for us right now, so there was a neat question which was asked to you, that which organisms came first, and your answer to that question was anaerobic chemoheterotrophs. Now people must be thinking, students must be thinking, how heterotrophs can come first, because hetero means they are dependent on others for their food, and when there is no food formed, how can they have food? So anaerobic, because there was no oxygen over there, so you know that N means absent, or aerobic means oxygen. Whatever the available organic matter was there, initially the organisms tried to have that. So earlier chemoheterotrophs occurred or came, but after that, by photosynthesis, anaerobic you can say anaerobic, not photosynthesis, chemosynthesis, chemoautotrophs appeared. Chemoautotrophs appeared. So from inorganic matter, they were forming their food. Now, right, like your iron bacteria, sulfur bacteria, etc. Iron bacteria, sulfur bacteria, etc. Right? So that means now what happened is they slightly started knowing that we can also make food, but still they were not using light, and there was no oxygen produced. So secondly, chemoautotrophs appeared. Now first anaerobic and then aerobic. So that's how I'm writing only photoautotrophs for you. Afterwards, photoautotrophs appear. So now they got to understand that they could use that chlorophyll started forming in the plant, so they could use that. They started understanding that we are getting this solar energy, sunlight also, so we can use that also. So they started using that. So they started using hydrogen, which they were using earlier from other sources. So now they started using that, and when H2O vapor broken down, dissociated down into hydrogen and oxygen, so now oxygen evolved, and that's how they became aerobic. And cyanobacteria, or blue green algae, BGA, they appeared now, and they start synthesizing the food by photoautotrophic mode of nutrition, and they appeared around 3.3 to 3.5 BYA. Okay, after them ozone layer got formed, and in fact many gases like oxygen combined with others to form gases like nitrogen, CO2, etc., more gases. Okay, and then ozone layer formation took place like this. So oxygen was there, so now ozone layer, and this ozone layer protects from UV rays, protects the atmosphere from UV rays. It acts like a shield for the atmosphere, as you all know. And after that, eukaryotes appeared. So eukaryotes appeared around 1.5 BYA. These data, they are very important because they are asked to you in the questions. So I guess now the origin of life is very much clear to you. So this was the thing which I told you, that free atoms, then simple inorganic materials, then organic simple organic materials, then complex organic materials, and due to the presence of protobions afterwards, prokaryotes arose, prokaryotes. Okay, so cyanobacteria and blue-green algae, they are nothing else but your prokaryotes only, they appeared, and after that your eukaryotes appeared. So that's how origin of life took place. So this was all about for today's session. We have just begin with the evolution chapter, and today we discuss the introductory things, certain theories related to evolution, and about your origin of life, right? So please do revise it, and I'll be meeting you in the very next lecture to proceed in the same one. Okay, so please meet me in the next lecture. Thank you, and come very soon so that we can continue it with. Okay, thank you so much.